Hey guys, how you doing? Today we're looking at the Tantive 4 or Tantive V4, however you want to say it. Today we'll be looking at some clips, some cinematic clips, and then some screenshots of the build as well. Just like we did with the Paris class frigate, which we did yesterday. So yeah, this is a zoom down the main length of the ship. So you can see the head, the main body, you've got the radar dish thing there, and then the engines. And then here's just a screenshot of the overall thing we just looked at. So again, head, body, shoulders, knees and toes. No, but yeah, seriously, you've got all four sections there, so yeah, pretty nice. Then just another zoom down the main body here, but this time from the side. So you can see obviously the head, and then you've got the side detail, the red strip that goes along the side, the airlock there, the joining section to the engines, and then the engines themselves, so that's nice. And here's just a side view of the section we just went along. You can see the engine back glowing nice and orange, so yeah. I'll go over some sort of things you might not have known about the Tantive 4 a bit later on when we've got a bit of time, just going through the screenshots. So yeah, here's just a zoom of the underside. You can see all the detail packed in under there. Especially in those nice little ridges, you've just got details you don't even need to include, but I just did anyway because it's such a iconic vehicle, or ship, should I say. So we have two turrets, one on the top and one on the bottom. I don't know what kind of turrets in particular they are, but they must be pretty powerful. Here's just a zoom along the inside of the engines, just so you can see the detail in there. There's not too much, but it's still enough where it's unnecessary amounts. Here's just a zoom of the side of the engines again, and there's that adjoining section between the airlocks and the engines, which most people didn't know existed. Turns out even people who work in Star Wars didn't know that part existed, because in a lot of official media that part isn't actually there. There was the inside of the cockpit, which as you can see is completely empty. And here's just a overall view of the ship in general. So this is just kind of from the front at an angle. Looks very nice. You can see how big the engines are compared to the rest of it, which is pretty mad. And here's the whole thing in the shader pack, which I mentioned earlier, I think. Or maybe I didn't. I don't even remember now. But you can see the engines a lot better in the shader pack. So this is Sonic Ethers, I think? V11? I can't remember. But anyway, you can see the glow of the engines is really nice. I worked really hard to make sure that they worked in shaders particularly. They're not even optimized for default, they're optimized for the shader pack since that's what I use. So yeah, just a tidbit of information there. And you can see the lighting on this isn't 100% amazing just because I didn't work on it with nighttime in mind. So yeah, what you're seeing here are some construction screenshots. So that was the first with no detail on the engines, and then this one's a bit more detailed. Obviously nothing before this point has been done, it's just the engines and then the airlocks have been done at this point. And none of the texture work is final, and a lot of the proportions are a bit off. So yeah, keep that in mind. Here's where the midsection had been started. This was probably the most difficult part because I just didn't know where to go from here and how to make it better. But then obviously here, the next one along is the fully finished ship. So obviously I didn't struggle that much. And I sadly didn't get any construction pictures between then and that point. But yeah, I'm just going to let these flash by. So again, that part behind the airlocks on the side where the Falcon is, and between that point and the engines, a lot of media doesn't acknowledge that part existing. A lot of sources say that the airlocks are directly next to the engines, that there's no connecting part, which isn't true. The new Lego model has that, whereas the old Lego model doesn't. The old reference images on Star Wars wikis don't have that area, but the new ones do. So obviously at some point people realized, oh, the ship actually does have that part. It's a weird thing to get passionate about, but it caused me so much trouble when building this thing because half the reference model images things said that that part existed, half of them didn't. So yeah, it just was annoying, but yes, it does exist. And yeah, you can see these shots of it now going by. One of the ones before was essentially a recreation of the iconic picture of the Tantive 4 being chased by the Star Destroyer, which I might do that in the thumbnail. We'll see how that goes. I either want to do a full length shot like I did with the Paris class frigate, or I want to do the Star Destroyer chasing it. We'll see what happens with that. You can see the airlock up close on this picture, which has just gone past now, sadly. But essentially that one if you go back to where it was, you can see that there is a section between the airlock and the engines, which I will mention again for like the 5th time. Here's a view from the back. So just shows the engines off again. This is in daytime, obviously, so you can see a lot of the details a lot better. And here's just a full front render. Obviously, you can't really see the areas that well because the lighting's not amazing. I'm not grade rendering yet. But you can see the engines at least. And here is the full length shot of the ship, which is very nice. And that's going to do it for this video, guys. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.
Alright, I'd just like to give a big thanks to my current Patreon supporters of the channel. The names are being displayed right now on screen, so massive credits to them for making this video possible. Make sure to check out my Patreon page in the description if you're interested in supporting the channel, and you also receive a neat goodie bag every month along with other rewards for the higher tiers. So yeah, thank you.